Good morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show at wakeupamericashow.com. And welcome to the new studio. Very exciting, yes. And what better day to debut the new studio than on a Family Friday with the lovely Steffi P for Liberty today. How are you doing, Steffi? How are you doing?
I am honestly, my heart is racing because I'm so excited.
This is pretty exciting, I would say.
This is awesome. We look so pretty.
Yeah. We're excited to be here. We're glad to have all of our friends who are tuning into the show this morning, but don't forget to click a like on that button. Help us spread the message of economic freedom and personal liberty, which is what we're all about this morning. Stephanie?
Oh my gosh. How does everybody like the new studio? How do we look?
So they can only see, right now we've only got like a 2-camera shot. So they can only kind of see like the close-ups of you and I. It's much more impressive when you look at it from afar. So my hope is to get a third camera set up at some point so they can see the entire studio here. This
behind the scenes,
this big beautiful glass desk. Well, they can see like a shot of both of us. So, but
I feel like I'm like on Fox News reporting live, breaking news.
Exactly, breaking news. Yes.
Reading from a teleprompter.
Yeah. So soon we will get a third camera. We'll set it up so they can see like this beautiful desk that's all lit up and all this kind of stuff, and they'll be able to see like the TVs with all of our logo and everything on it. So here we are. What do you guys think?
It's amazing. I love all the lights around us.
Yeah. The one downside is, and the Pork Chop Times has already pointed it out.
What?
He says, see more gray hair on AP.
Oh my gosh, I wouldn't have even thought of that.
That's because of all the light, right? So we got way more
funny.
lights. Yeah,
is my hair gray?
No.
I don't know.
It shows it more because we're so lit up now. So, it's like...
Oh boy.
So it was, and when it was a little darker, you couldn't tell all the, there's no brown. So anyways.
Lighting secrets.
Yeah, we're glad to have you here on the Wake Up America show with us this morning. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already that you're watching us on today. If you like the content, we've got a lot of great content for you today. For sure.
We really do. I'm very excited about the topics.
The next president of Argentina. He has an interesting past as an economist and a controversial past as a tantric sex coach.
But that's how controversial that is.
Well, that's not actually the most controversial thing about this guy. The most controversial thing about him is that he might be a libertarian.
Oh, yeah. I was like, that was perfect. Yes.
Thank you.
You read my mind.
That's why we got the soundboard here. So we're going to talk about this Javier Milei this morning. And we want to say very good morning to Melissa Roysden. First time I've seen her commenting here with us today. See all these new names and faces. It's great. It's very exciting. Melissa Roysden's here. Corey C. AC. Studio 314, our friend, is here.
Corey and Studio, they're here all the time. I know their names very well.
Very much. Barney Styles. Holy Pork Chop. My man is salt and pepper. Yes, I am very salt and pepper. You guys are going to like make me want to go dye my hair.
Aww.
There's no way that my hair is going to outcompete this presidential candidate, this Javier Milei. We're going to talk about him in just a few minutes. I've got some clips of him that have been going viral in libertarian circles these recent days and stuff. It's pretty funny stuff. You watch some of the videos.
Yes. His hair looks like Justin Bieber.
Yeah, it kind of does, right? Justin Bieber, like the Beatles.
The old Justin Bieber, I guess we could say. I think Justin has a different hairstyle now.
Yes. So we're gonna talk about that. I've got some clips for you. We're gonna play today. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So look forward to that. And then after that on the show today, Stephanie, I know that we talked about the Snow White movie with yesterday with Daniela Pensack, but at like 5:30 a.m. or whatever on our way into the studio this morning. Stephanie, we listened to a quick little video that about the new Snow White movie, and Stephanie had some thoughts about that.
Just like dropping my opinions while it was still dark outside.
Yeah, so we're going to have to hear Stephanie's thoughts on the.
I mean, I'm not a Snow White fan. I never was, but I definitely can have opinions about it.
Yeah, so we're going to hear from Stephanie on the Snow White movie. In just a few minutes. Let's see. Some people are saying my mic sounds like a laptop microphone. Sorry about that. What? I did a little tweak to it right now. So
laptop microphone.
It just sounds kind of tinny, they said. Steffi is super clear, they said, though. So fancy, so professional. Yes. So I just made a little tweak. Let me know if it sounds a little bit better. So hopefully things are good. Remember last week when like your audio was like cutting in and out when we were talking? So we're gonna be making a lot of tweaks on the new studio. So keep an eye out for that.
Like the first day, seriously.
Yep. So Joey Rankin's going to put us up on the big screen so we can see the new changes. Yes. Melissa Royston says, cheers from my Make Taxation Theft Again mug. Lovely. Yes.
You're OG.
Oh, that's OG. Well, yeah, she might have gotten one of the newer versions, but that is an OG item. Yes, for sure. Andy says it sounds much better.
We think.
Yes, fixed, says Stevie J. Good to know. Hooray, hooray, hooray. We're going to have a lot of fun today, aren't we?
I think so. I'm already having fun.
I know. It's just
fun before you even started the stream.
Yeah, I just love the fact that your audio is actually working for the first time. Okay. All right. So what's next with that? What's next? Oh, making friends with other couples. So this is a good one for us because it is quite a difficult task once you get past your college years and then you get married and you move on to, especially like in a small town where we're at, for sure, to make friends with other couples.
Yeah.
And
we've pretty easy time.
We got lucky. Well, yeah, but don't say that, Stephanie. We're supposed to be like we're normal people, right? Act like a normie, okay? For the love of God.
So in Michigan, I didn't have a couple friends, so so this is new for me.
Yeah. Let's see here. Steffi, as they say that there's a little bit of cutting out for the crosstalk, so unfortunately. But they say that's because the audio board that I have, the very, very expensive one, needs a new motherboard or something like that. And so I have to send it out, which means I have to figure out how to do an audio solution without this motherboard, which is, I'm sorry, guys. It's just, there's only so many skills and talents one person can have in their body, for the love of God.
The solution is I need to learn not to talk over people. I think coming from a Jewish family, we show our excitement by talking over and talking really loud, like, oh, gosh, tell me more. But it's like, I have to stop that and I have to listen.
Yes, exactly. Try that in a small town. All right. Let's see. At 8 o'clock, a sex therapist, it'll get a little bit blue at 8 o'clock. A sex therapist, here are 10 questions to boost your lovemaking.
Oh. So. I think I already know something I want to try because of that Argentinian presidential candidate.
Okay, that's enough. All right, so take it down a notch. We're not going rated R, Stephanie. It's PG-13 here this morning, okay, for the love of God.
Well, I mean, I guess some people want to teach, what is it, pleasure sex to children?
If you really want to turn me on, talk nerdy to me, and let's talk about Austrian economics. We're going to talk about Javier Milei this morning, top show in just a minute.
Dude, no, it's funny.
Don't talk over me, Stephanie.
You had me talking about economics with a man who was trying to flirt with me.
Oh yeah. That was kind of a funny moment, right? They're like, what should I say to them?
Because I kept saying hello. This man was like, "Hi, Red," and I was like, "Hello." Every time he would say that, and he's like, "All you say is hello." My husband, and then Austin's like, "Talk about economics to him."
Yeah, because I knew that they were all retarded. So like they would all just kind of look at us like, oh, and they did.
Yeah. So I started talking about Austrian economics and Mises.
Exactly. It was hilarious. All right. So let's see. What we finish the show with? Oh, if you want to be more intelligent, say goodbye to these habits. So we'll talk about that. That's how we're going to finish the show.
I'm not very intelligent.
Oh, shut up, Stephanie. You're probably smarter than I am. All right. So presidential candidate Javier Milei did not kill himself. This is a man who won the nomination of his party in Argentina with 30% of the vote, and he's going on to the general election. There's Javier Milei, and he's catching my attention for a lot of the things that he's saying and making a lot of waves. You're going to have to read the subtitles on this one. So if you're just listening right now, you're not going to understand because it's going to be in Spanish. So take a listen.
Al zurdo de mierda no le podés dar ni un milímetro.
¿Me podés definir zurdo de mierda que no
Todos los que, digamos, los colectivistas, los que ponen, digamos, o sea, esa idea... A ver,
¿Por qué le pones de mierda?
Okay, hold on. I'll translate just in case. You can't give shit left
Al zurdo de mierda no le podés dar ni un milímetro.
Can you define shit leftist, she says.
Zurdo de mierda que no
Todos los que, digamos...
All collectivists, all kinds of collectivists. Oh, God, I love them already.
Los colectivistas, los que ponen, digamos, o sea, esa idea... A ver,
¿por qué le pones de mierda, digamos?
Porque son una mierda. O sea, no, pero es que si pensás distinto te van a aniquilar. Ese es el punto. Es decir, vos al zurdo no le podés dar un milímetro, porque le das un milímetro y lo toma para destrozarte. Es decir, usa, digamos, o sea, vos no podés negociar con el zurdo. No se negocia. No se negocia con esa mierda, no se negocia porque te van a llevar puesto. Y como estamos siendo tan mejores que ellos, como los estamos aplastando en la batalla cultural, los estamos pasando de arriba, porque no solo le ganamos en lo productivo, somos superiores moralmente, somos superiores estéticamente, somos mejores en todo. Y les duele, les duele. Entonces, como no pueden pelear con las herramientas legítimas, se apalancan en el aparato represivo del Estado, poniendo torres de guita para hacernos mierda, y aún así no pueden, tuvieron que bajar la nota, ¿me entendés? Que están perdiendo, están desesperados, están perdiendo la batalla cultural, los zurdos de mierda, por primera vez se ven acorralados los zurdos de mierda.
Oh, la mierda. Oh, otro momoko. That is some good shit right there. Like, give him a
Goodness. So not PC.
No, it wasn't. Yeah, shit leftards and stuff. You say he sounds like a traditional conservative, not libertarian. Nah, he's a libertarian. So he's like in JGJ over in the live stream. But no, see, conservatives aren't like with libertarians when it comes to economics, right? So he's been described as ultra conservative. He's been described as far right and a right wing libertarian, while he identifies as a minarchist. One of us. Yes. Hello, son. How you doing? Say less. Regarding economic matters, he aligns with the Austrian school. Oh my god! Okay, and then but here's the thing. So he's with us on economics, but he opposes abortion.
Oh, so I mean, a lot of libertarians do.
I mean, we libertarians do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He rejects the inclusion of comprehensive sex education in schools.
Wait, repeat that again.
He rejects the inclusion. Now, this is Wikipedia. So this is
inclusion
of comprehensive sex education in schools. Now, that's probably a leftist that wrote that. And they're probably like that creep that we showed the other day on my Instagram where the teacher was trying to say we need to have pleasure-based sex ed in pre-K. I should probably play that clip because
very interesting.
Yeah,
it was pretty cringe.
Well, so essentially the pleasure. This was a teacher who was a high school teacher, and they were talking about how we could fight racism, right?
I don't know how sex and racism go together.
So, well, you will when you watch this clip. So this is a teacher who is a high school age teacher. Okay, hold on. Let me pull this up.
So weird.
But yeah, it is real weird. So hold on. Let me play it for the listeners.
I mean, I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but I mean, pleasure. If we can get parents to be on board that pleasure-based sex ed with their pre-K or even earlier is the way to do this, it would be so much easier for us middle school and high school sex educators to teach, because we're not spending time teaching them to unlearn all the things they've been wrongly socialized to subscribe to. I feel like that's the future. The optimist in me says it is. It's totally the right way to go. And it really becomes the actual holistic, sex-positive, comprehensive field that we all on this panel know it to be. The best comprehensive health education is one that is integrated
comprehensive education. So there it is. So they call it comprehensive education, but when they call it comprehensive sex education, what they really mean is talking to children about gay shit.
Every subject. That social justice education has always been a part of sex education when it's done right.
Done right?
When it's done right.
And so I feel like we have this momentum to really bring about comprehensive sex ed in the ways that Amaze is producing and helping us with, because these movements are really pushing us to move more forward into that anti-racist, pleasure-based type of activism.
Do racist people not like pleasure?
Yeah, I guess not. They don't like. Yeah, well. I mean, there are so like, to be fair, like there are some like right wing conservatives who don't like, you have sex once a year in a broom closet. I mean, if you're like on your birthday, purely for the reason of procreation. Isn't that like a Jewish thing for some like some Jewish, like, isn't that Hasidic Jewish thing? For a while, you don't really do it other than for the purpose of procreation.
Well, you have to put your stuff in there always. you can't put it somewhere else. Because
you can't cheat
to try to procreate.
Right.
So just saying, like,
but the point isn't
the seed has to always be planted.
Oh, right. So you can never like honor her chest or anything like that.
I don't think so.
Okay, good to know.
Catholics do that too, don't they?
Good to know. It's always.
I don't know.
All right, so
tell me, is that something you all do?
I don't know. So yeah, I mean,
what is pleasure sex ed? Like, what is this?
it's being a creep towards kids. Being a freaking being a pedo, being a pedo towards children.
Talking about this in bed the other night, and we were what is the person supposed to tell the child? Like, let me help you feel pleasure. This is how you touch yourself. Like,
it's always some weird grooming. It's grooming. Corey C over in the live stream. Morning, Corey. He says that we just had a problem in our school district where kids were auto opted in to private trans screening, where they talk to your kids alone and ask all about their home life. Whoa, that's...
Oh my goodness. That almost sounds like Child Protective Service level stuff.
But it's groomer stuff, and it's happening in schools, right? So...
Wow. They privately take you in, and they don't tell the parents about this.
Yeah. My brother says, I hate these people so much, and I have a lot of love in my heart. We get you, Justin. So I get it.
Wow. I'm just trying to think back about sex ed when I was in school. All I remember is just them showing the birthing video that I wasn't even in school for. I think I took the day off.
But let's stick to the topic, because I know a lot of people are going to want to hear about this guy. So the Argentina, Javier Milei, right? So he came out on top of the poll. He's a self-described libertarian. He won with over 30% of the vote. He's a former economics professor. He entered Congress. His party has 2 representatives that are in Congress. But a lot of people don't know exactly how he's going to solve the problems that Argentina have. Right now, they've got inflation over 100% for the first time since 1991.
100%.
Yep, and it's set to go higher. The peso has collapsed.
Right.
The country has about $30 billion in foreign exchange reserves. The net number is actually about minus $5 billion. That's an unofficial number because their central bank doesn't provide one. But it suggests that a moment of reckoning, which is kind of another Argentinian tradition, is imminent. So the vote for Milei, this Javier Milei, isn't necessarily a vote for libertarianism. It's really a vote against the status quo to a large extent, right?
Change. People are desperate, it sounds.
He says, this is a famous quote from his in the country. Central banks are divided in 4 categories. I want to say it like him. Central banks are divided in 4 categories. The bad ones, like the Federal Reserve, good stuff. The very bad ones, like the ones in Latin America. The horribly bad ones, and the Central Bank of Argentina. So he's kind of like explaining how bad the Central Bank of Argentina is. And we actually have a clip of him that I uploaded yesterday of him.
Pinata?
So this is so based, it's not even funny. This is Javier Milei on a Spanish language TV show, and he is hitting a piñata of their central bank, Banco Central.
Cuidado, pará, correte. Vení, que no entras. Ahí está. Tranquilo.
American presidential candidate who does this.
Córranse, pará. No, pará, cuidado, no, pará, acá, ahí. Pará, bueno, basta. Pará.
I don't know what's going on. Maybe some kind of paper or something like that. Dude, this is awesome.
Llévatelo, basta, Milei, llévatelo. Pará, que va a romper todo. Pará, Javier,
honestly, Stephanie, I love that. All right, so there he is, smashing their central bank. There we go. So
wow. I have so many ideas now about piñatas we can make.
Yeah. So when you go to his rallies, the last rally that he had, they say Hard Rock blared from the speakers as 10,000 fans cheered. Yes. An image of a roaring lion surrounded by fire lit up the screen. No. Jumping on the stage, a man in a leather jacket whipped the crowd into a frenzy. I am the lion, he cried. I am the king in a lost world. It was not a rock concert. The speaker was Javier Milei.
He's got marketing. That's what us libertarians don't have.
No, it's true. We need more of this kind of stuff, because you know what? It doesn't matter if it's not intellectual. Screw it. People don't care. This is not what it is. We got too many nerds in libertarianism. We need more we need more hard rock
That's
rock and roll libertarians, to be honest.
That's so fun.
Yeah. Lions have manes, writes a National Review, and Milei has his hair, right? So it isn't quite a mullet, mop top, or mohawk, but some complex combination of the three. It seems to move in all directions at once, culminating in a swoop that resembles a treacherous alpine slope. I love this. Hold on, let me see. Let me pull up the picture of him talking. I'll mute it, but we can at least play it and stuff like that while it's up there. You can see. So you can see what I'm talking about here. Right. So in his teens, he played in a band that primarily covered Rolling Stones songs. He's been seen in more in suits lately than his once uniform leather jacket. He's kind of like Nick Gillespie. The commentariat have named him El Palooka or the Wig. That's what they're calling him. They see his hair as a reflection of his nonconformist campaign, in which he's advocated to shutter the country's central bank, replace the peso with the dollar. Oh, they're going to kill him. And create a market for selling human organs. We'll get to this. For Milei, the attention-hogging hairstyle may indeed have helped lift him to victory in the primary. His eccentric persona, from his wild hairstyle to the blaring rock music at his rallies, symbolizes the dramatic change that many voters long for. Still, the politician has in the past bristled at all the attention on his flurry of follicles. In a 2016, he clapped back at a critic writing in Spanish, "People with low capacity focus on my hair and not on my ideas."
Oh. The hair is covering the big brain.
I love it.
Libertarian brain.
I love it. That was hilarious. We definitely need his enthusiasm, Melissa Royston. Less nerds, more lions, says Justin Peterson. Exactly.
Yes, have to.
I love it. I love it. I mean, it is Argentina, and their politics are a little bit different. I mean, we are a very socially conservative country in a large degree. So, if you were
to me, freedom.
No, America, no. No. Yeah. So, for example, perfect timing. Greg Keller from Missouri. He's Greg, right? He's like the consultant here, the Republican consultant here in Missouri. Anyways, he literally just tweeted this. Okay. This candidate is a total deviant. He's also a former tantric sex coach. So it's
cool.
See, you think it's cool because you're a libertarian, Stephanie, but look, I put the tweet up on the screen. This is Greg Keller. This candidate is a total deviant. He's also a former tantric sex coach. So this is how Americans would react to that, right?
He cheated on somebody.
Doesn't matter.
Has sex
if you have sex more than once a year, you are not a strong candidate for the Republican Party. Unless you're Donald Trump, in which the rules don't apply. Right. You can have sex with a porn star in a broom closet at a golf tournament and then pay her off while you're cheating on your wife, and you'll be fine. But anybody else, because that is the funny thing too about Greg Keller, because I wonder what he would say about Donald Trump's, if he was confronted with that history, Of course, okay. Of course he is, because he's a fan of whoever wins and pays him money. You know what I mean? I like Greg Keller, but he is consultants consult and they get paid, right? So if libertarians were winning elections and we're paying him a lot of money, Greg Keller, wouldn't be saying things like that. We're like, this person's got to stick up their ass and they're too conservative, blah, 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 and all this kind of stuff. So that's just how politics works. So we need to start winning elections so we can start having consultants saying things like, wow, he has a pass as a tantric sex coach. He's so cool, right?
I was thinking I'm going to be following the Argentinian presidential election more than the American one.
No, I was thinking that as well. I think I'm laughing because I honestly am concerned for this guy's safety. I'm not lying. I'm honestly, I'm just concerned that they're going to off him, because that happened to a guy a presidential candidate in Ecuador, for example. Really? Yeah, he got unalived. They assassinated him. This happened just a month ago or something like that. The guy who was running in Ecuador. I don't know what his politics were, but
they actually assassinated him.
It's not uncommon in South American countries for that to happen. So I don't really care so much about the United States presidential election as I do about this one, because
in Argentina.
Argentina.
So weird.
Yeah.
really think the Libertarian Party will win. Is he? So he's in the LP, exactly.
So he is their the analog, right? So they don't have a lot of seats. They've got like 2 or 3 seats in their parliament. Let me see. Hold on. Let me pull up
how their government is set up.
Yeah, Javier Milei. Let me pull up his page again. You got to be careful about the Wikipedia though, because it's usually written by leftists with too much time on their hands with autism and shit. Let's see his political La Libertad Avanza. So he's caused a stir controversial by saying the main producer of Argentina's economist is a Marxist indoctrination center in reference to the economic school of the University of Buenos Aires. I believed it, leading to what he called the ubiquitous proliferation of Keynesian brutes. This guy is awesome.
Wow. The words are so powerful.
Yes, he generated further controversy by naming Domingo Cavallo as the country's best economic minister. It looks like Camelia is sending me some articles. Our friend Alejandro Gulgarak over on Twitter, he's written some pieces about this guy on the Libertarian Republic. This was a couple of years ago.
Really?
Yeah, he says the homeland of my youth is a warning, but it's a promise of what could be a new land of liberty. So we've got some good pieces about Javier Milei over at the libertarianrepublic.com.
We knew him before he was big.
Yeah. I just didn't remember him. I didn't remember these pieces that Alejandro had written about this guy. And now it looks like he's become a credible contender for the president of Argentina. So
that's awesome.
I mean, go Argentina. For the love of God, that's amazing. We should
be able to import presidential candidates from other countries.
I know.
Because he could win here in America.
Yeah, LDub78 over on Rumble this morning says, I was thinking the same thing. This Argentina guy is based, but I am not. I'm not betting long in terms of how long his remaining life is. Yeah, no, I
dear.
It's true. I mean, I think people like these, like they always die before their time, right?
Yeah. That's why I asked you the question the other day. Should you even try if you know you're going to fail and you're going to keep being silenced? Yeah, you did. Yeah, you asked me that. And it's like, yeah, you should. You should absolutely try because you never know what can happen. There's always like, the parallel universe theory. Like, for example, there may be a good outcome that could come. It's like, when I ran for president in 2016, I knew that 99.99999% you're going to lose, right? Right.
But the hope was to inspire more generations of young people, and that maybe one day the next person who was inspired by my campaign comes in and runs for president and wins. You never know, right?
Yeah.
I was talking to Cliff Maloney the other day about in 2018 here in Missouri when I was running for Senate, he was telling me about the conference that I spoke at in St. Louis. He's like, half the people that were in that room were there because and had signed up for YAL because of my presidential campaign.
That's cool.
Yeah, he was talking about what a great recruitment tool it was. We got to say thank you to Studio 314 who just dropped a super chat. What's up, brother? Thank you very much. We appreciate that.
Making the new studio?
Yeah, Studio 314 says, can a man be president of 2 countries at the same time? Asking for the USA. That would be nice.
Do their countries allow foreigners to run for president? Or is it just our country that doesn't allow that?
That's a good question. I mean, I bet you that it's probably illegal in most countries. Yeah. LW78, continuing on our thoughts there, says, even if your effort fails, speaking up may inspire the next person who actually succeeds. Exactly. That was my point. And thank you, Studio 314, for the super chat. If you want to donate a super chat today, help us to spread the message of freedom. We would be certainly grateful for that. Usually Freedom Family Fridays is the day that we get the most super chats. So we'd love it if you guys would make a financial contribution to help us today. So what's that PBS thing that they always used to say on PBS? Like,
for viewers like you?
Yes, for viewers like you. It was like something about like our contribution will help from viewers like you or something like that. I don't remember how it was.
Rainbow.
Yes.
It was Reading Rainbow.
It was on PBS. Yes. I can do anything. Stevie J says the first double president will be an Asian American guy because his mom will be like, "You're president of one country, why not 2 countries?" Tiger moms. For sure. All right. Well, it's 7:30 this morning. It's time for us to talk a little bit about something else. Time for us to move on. That was a nice conversation. Let's talk about this Rachel Ziegler character. She is the plays the lead in the new Snow White movie, and we talked about it yesterday with Daniela Pensac. But Steffi P for Liberty had a few thoughts about her as well. So let's pull up this little interview that she did where she talked about the older Snow White film. Take a listen to this.
I mean, you know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
Super weird.
So we didn't do that this time.
So no prince or a different kind of prince?
We have a different approach to what I'm sure a lot of people will assume is a love story just because, like, we cast a guy in the movie.
Right.
Andrew Burnap, great dude.
Yeah.
It's
What?
one of those things that I think everyone's going to have their assumptions about what it's actually going to be, but it's really not about the love story at all, which is really, really wonderful. And whether or not she finds love along the way is anybody's guess until 2024. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows?
She's okay. Hold on. I know you got a lot to say. I got a couple more clips. Here she is with Gal Gadot.
Scared of the original cartoon. I think I watched it once and then I never picked it up again. Like, I'm being so serious. I watched it once and then I went on the ride in Disney World, which was called Snow White's Scary Adventures. Doesn't sound like something a little kid would like. Was terrified of it. Never revisited Snow White again. So I watched it for the first time in probably 16, 17 years when I was doing this film. I was scared.
One last thing, I love this from the Babylon Bee. Disney would remove the problematic kiss from the Snow White movie. Snow White will now remain dead.
Clips from the movie.
Now, okay, hold on. Before you get there, one last clip.
Coming soon, Disney presents Woke Snow White. It's just like the original Snow White, but without all those outdated, triggering, offensive elements that represent everything that's wrong with the world. You're gonna love what Disney did. First, we took out the part where Snow White eats a poison apple, because that was offensive to people with eating disorders and drug addiction. Then, we removed the 7 dwarfs. You know, because midgets. And finally, we took out the part where the prince kisses Snow White while she's asleep, because I'm sure you'll agree, that part of the film was just glorified date rape. So don't miss Woke Snow White. Rated W for the wokiest woke film that ever woke the planet with its wokeness.
Ho hi, it's time to say goodbye. If Disney sues, we'll claim fair use. Ho hi, ho hi, ho hi.
Disney sues will claim fair use. Oh hi, oh hi. All right, Stephanie, you got a lot of thoughts. You have a lot of thoughts about this. Unleash.
The date rape?
Okay. All right, so go ahead, start.
Okay. I do think it's going to be like the Barbie movie.
Mm-hmm.
The girl wants to, or at least it sounds like she wants to cut out all the clips of her co-star, who's a guy. So she's like, I don't know. Maybe he just won't even appear in the movie. And she's fine with that.
Yes.
I don't know. Why would you cast somebody who hates Snow White already?
Like, she just didn't like the film. She says it's outdated. Disney...
Cast somebody who loves Snow White?
Okay, literally, Disney would be nothing without Snow White, right? Their first feature-length animated film becomes a huge hit, 1937. Like, is a play on the old Grimm's fairy tale, like reimagining for new audiences and things like that. And so, you know, it was groundbreaking at the time. And part of it, I think, is that these people are criticizing cultural achievements that they will never come close to achieving, right? What Disney had done at the time was to create something that he created Mickey Mouse. Like you like, what have you ever done to give to our culture,
right,
to make other cultures bleed to be a part of your country? Like, you have to understand that Mickey Mouse was one of the reasons why Tiananmen Square happened. Yes. One of the reasons why they stood in front of tanks and were crushed by the Chinese Communist government is because they wanted their Mickey Mouse. They wanted
about Mickey Mouse.
It was in part, yes. Because they wanted access to American markets.
Right.
Because America's culture was so strong and so powerful that it acted as a draw from people around the world. People crossed the Berlin Wall, risked being shot to come to the West so that they could have access to our culture. They come for economic opportunities. Sure, there's a lot of dull gray explanations for it. But let's be honest, like some of these people in countries like North Korea, you could be killed by the government if you get access to Western films. Meanwhile, the dictator of North Korea can watch all the American movies that he wants, and he loves
Snow White.
They love watching American films, but they don't allow their people to watch their films. You know why? Because of how powerful these cultural touchstones are.
They want them to believe in love, and then they won't work so hard.
Yes, and the left cannot compete with these people who have created a superior culture, whose shoulders that they stand on top of in order to create Snow White, which is just nothing but a cheap copy of what happened in the 1930s, when I would argue Hollywood was at its cultural zenith to a large degree. Now, I would say, and this is probably my nostalgia to some extent, but I would say that Hollywood probably peaked in the 80s.
Okay.
And has been on a downhill slide ever since then. Because when you go back and you watch movies in the 80s, like I do, I'll go back and watch some of my favorite 80s movies as kids. I'll be like, oh, well, you can tell this is kind of dated and some of the stuff's kind of cheesy.
Right.
But the movies were made with gusto and without apology. So when you watch a film from the 80s all the way up to the 90s, there are some films that still are groundbreaking. And I still think Quentin Tarantino does do some groundbreaking stuff in film today, but even his stuff is like copies of older cinema, like spaghetti westerns and cowboy films, which is fine, right? To take inspiration from older films and things like that and make something new. But that's not what these are. That's not what Disney is doing. They're not taking old tropes and old ideas and repackaging them into completely new works of art. So like Django was a film that existed, I think, back in the 1950s. And then Quentin Tarantino makes Django Unchained, but it's a reimagining of it and a sort of a cultural icon himself that Quentin Tarantino creates with Django Unchained, right?
Good.
Oh, yeah.
The time I watched it.
Yeah, the first time I think you fell asleep.
I did.
Yes. So I think that there's a lot of jealousy on behalf of these people. With Rachel Ziegler, I think she probably is just in a situation where she realizes that she cannot, she has to split the baby. She has
the baby.
Yes. So she I think part of her does want to pay respect to the old culture and to the old, film to some extent, even though she's not displaying it here. But she knows that the new culture rejects all of these old tropes and stereotypes and old these stories. And so she probably thinks that it's better to bet on the woke politics as the path to success in the future, because actors are stupid, right? I know from experience, bro, right? The actors are pretty dumb, and they're going to say what they think people want to hear in order to further their career. So I think Rachel probably thinks that playing the woke politics game is a safer bet than going against the grain in Hollywood and saying, I really would like to make a movie that is respectful to the original and that has a love story. I mean, Justin, my brother, is in the live stream earlier. He said something that I completely agree with. The point is to destroy love. That they want to destroy love. The destruction of love is the point. You had a lot to say about that yesterday when you were talking about how she was saying that we don't want to have a love story and all that stuff because little girls, when they're young, she doesn't dream of love. And what was your reaction to that?
It's going back to when I was younger and what I was dreaming of, and I do remember vividly that I used to have a whole house in my imagination of little dolls, little baby dolls that I would take care of. I dreamed of basically being a housewife, being a mom. I don't remember ever wanting to be the CEO of a company, although I did practice being a teacher and I had a little shop that I owned as a kid and I was a waitress, all those kinds of things. But mostly I loved raising my little baby dolls. That was my favorite.
I want to have you expand on that in just a second, but we do have to give a big shout out and a thank you to LDub78. He dropped $30 in the tip jar today. Yes.
Nice. Thank you.
Thank you, L-Dubs. We appreciate that very much. Helps us to continue to spread the message of economic freedom and personal liberty. We are very grateful to you. It's people like you that helps us to continue.
Yes.
Make sure that today, if you enjoy the content that you're watching, that you click like and subscribe. I'm Austin Peterson, host of the Wake Up America show. This is my lovely wife, Stephanie P. Glad to have Stephanie here with us on the show. And you guys, we got a new studio today. Oh, yeah. I'm very excited.
Epic.
Yeah, we love it. And you can only see, unfortunately, like the close-ups right now from our 2 cameras, but I am going to try and get a 3rd camera set up for you guys so you can actually see the big, beautiful studio as it is, because we got this glass desk with lights in it and all kinds of stuff, and then all kinds of fun stuff here. So
the lights. I think that's my favorite thing.
Yeah.
The lights energize me.
yeah, it's a lot different than the show in the bar. So we've moved in, and we also we have to say thank you to Scott Fawn.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Fawn, we would not be here.
Yeah, we've got to give Scott Fawn a big shout out and a thank you, because without Scott Fawn, we wouldn't have this lovely space, and he donates this to us generously. And honestly, we wouldn't be able to do the show without Scott Fawn. So
Yes.
he's a big part of what we do. So we appreciate him. So
Kind to us.
he has. So AC over on the live stream says, yes, I always wanted my daughter to end up like a character from The Devil Wears Prada. That's very funny.
Yeah.
So in terms of like love, like what is it that you want as a child? Like the left wants young girls to want something different than what they actually want, right? I think deep down that most women, we were talking about this earlier, we won't say the name, but we were talking about this earlier, this concept of like, the idea that like a woman doesn't want to get married or to have kids. A lot of women say that, and we know a lot of women who say that publicly. And I'm going to go on the record here.
Handler.
Yeah, I'm going to say this. I think this is probably pretty controversial. I don't believe that. I think people who say that, probably it's a cope.
Yeah, I mean, I know I used to cope that way because I was in a relationship that was not leading to marriage before you. And I remember I used to tell my coworkers and friends that I really didn't care about marriage. It wasn't important to me. But then once I finally found somebody that I could see my forever with, then I was open to the idea of marriage, and I actually believed in it again.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, is that you just need to find the right person.
Right.
All right. Again, I think that our lives have improved so much through our relationship. Like the last 2.5 years since we started being together, like as a partnership, have been the best years of my life. And I've had a lot of really good and exciting and wonderful years in my life.
I've had some pretty cool stuff happen to you.
Right. But there was like a brief moment last night when we went out to dinner, when I was talking about like, I had like a moment of nostalgia and reminisced about my life on the East Coast. And I was watching this party on a rooftop in Hollywood, and I remember what it used to be like to go to those kinds of fancy events and to be around interesting people and to be able to go to art galleries and have access to culture. And that's something that I still miss here to a certain extent.
Right.
But I wouldn't trade it for our relationship.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I would trade all of the art museums. I would trade all of the delicious bowls of ramen. I would trade all of the culture and art and music and lifestyle and excitement and lectures at the Cato Institute. I would trade it all for our relationship and our 5.5 acres and our 2 dogs and our love, because
that's not what society wants you to want.
That's not what society wants me to want.
No,
it's not. And it's not what society wants you to want. Now, some people, can they have it all? Sure.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe they can afford to have it all and they'll be rich and famous and they'll do well. Right. But to me, I think, my brother Justin is correct. He says love makes life worth living. It absolutely does. Because now I feel like my life really has meaning. Whereas before, my life was just about myself. Now my life is about more than myself.
Yeah.
Right. And I actually feel as if like I'm a bigger person, not in the sense of like I'm a morally better person,
right.
But I'm a bigger person in the sense that like I have more of a capacity for love because it's about more than just myself. I still have the same like ego and pride, and which I don't think are bad things, because I'm a Randian, and I'm not a Christian moralist. I'm a Randian moralist, which means because I think humility and like a lack of pride, I think, and a lack of ego. I think that's the slave mentality. But we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that at some point. Well, the Christian morality is the morality of the slave, because it values humility and pride goeth before a fall. Whereas Randian morality says that, greed is good, be proud of yourself, ego is a good thing, right? And stuff like that. It's very individualistic, right?
Proud of myself.
I am too, but the thing is that yes, and so I feel as if like not only do I have this love of myself and a pride in myself and an ego in myself, but with the addition of you in our relationship, it's like 2x, right? So now I've doubled the amount of love and pride that I have because I feel it not only in myself but in you. Like I feel proud of you, and I see the accomplishments you make. I get to delight in your accomplishments as well. It's like whenever
with me,
because
I'm so much a part of your life and your success.
For sure. Justin Peterson over the live stream says, well, that's the thing with Snow White. Destroying the love in the story makes her a raging narcissist. Sorry, that's not Snow White. That's the evil queen. True.
Oh, is there an evil queen in the movie, or did they get rid of it?
Yes. So Gal Gadot is in it, right?
Okay.
Right. So it's Gal Gadot is like the wicked queen, which I was kind of laughing at because like she's so much hotter than Snow White.
Here's what's going to happen. Here's the ending. Snow White is going to end up with the wicked queen.
They're gonna have a gay relationship. Yeah. Glowcus over on Rumble is asking if I dyed my hair. No, that is my actual hair color right there. It's just gray.
It's related to your hair.
It's because it's the really bright lights, overhead lights, really make the gray stand out. Yeah. So yeah, that's it, you guys. That's it. I'm dyeing my hair. Too bad. Now they got me. They got me. There you go. You struck my pride. So no, I'm just kidding.
Boy.
Anyways.
It's me if I dye my hair. Do you guys think I'm
because your hair is beautiful. You are a natural redhead.
Maybe I'm not. People always say my eyebrows are pretty dark, so I have been questioned a long time ago if I'm actually brown haired.
No, it's not true. Big cities are nice to visit, says Stevie J, but living in one feels like a gilded cage. Yes, to a certain extent, that is true. Let's look at what we're talking about right now. We're supposed to be. Oh, yeah, Snow White. Did you want to finish? Yeah, go ahead.
What's interesting to me, too, was the fact that you said there was a small person who is in Hollywood who actually made it so the dwarves did not appear in Snow White.
Oh, Peter Dinklage. Yes. So
what is going on? Everybody's just fighting against the original movie here.
Yes. So Peter Dinklage, there was this came out a long time ago, Snow White. Let's see. Peter Dinklage said the 7 dwarves are an insult. Yes, right.
What?
Yes. So Emmy Award-winning actor Peter Dinklage, he's the guy who played somebody Lannister in Game of Thrones. Like I forget their names from the show. But anyways, he says that Snow White and the 7 Dwarves is an insult. He says you're progressive in one way, but you're still making that effing backwards story about 7 dwarves living in a cave together. Have I done nothing to advance the cause from my soapbox? I guess I'm not loud enough. So he's a year ago, Peter Dinklage calls Disney's Snow White remake backward.
What?
He said that he was stunned that Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs would be made into a live action film. Now, Disney said that in response to that it was consulting with members of the dwarfism community. So let me just get this straight. Peter Dinklage, who made his career as an actor playing a dwarf in a movie called Game of Thrones, right? I mean, he got famous. He climbed the ladder of success in Hollywood, and then he turns around and pulls that ladder up for anybody else in the dwarf community who might want to get a role in a Hollywood film.
Like Mini-Me, probably.
Right. Exactly. It's not like there are a lot of jobs for dwarves in Hollywood movies. Right. And so Peter Dinklage is being an ungrateful asshole in criticizing this movie, because here's the thing. Disney consulted with the members of the dwarfism community. I know it's hard to say.
It's a cute community to tap into.
Okay, but here's the thing. And then they changed it. They're no longer 7 dwarfs.
Huh. So there's 7 normal sized people. Are they
7 little retarded woke 7 little woke retards?
Do you think there's some transgender ones?
Oh yeah. Oh, there's got to be like a trans dwarf for sure.
Yeah.
Just like you can't have there won't be any more Hollywood movies that don't have some kind of little trans angle to it. Anyway, that is going to be a guarantee. Is it in every movie?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I'll be interested to see the first actor who does like the first like transgender kiss in like a major Hollywood movie, because that's coming for sure. Remember in Barbie?
She was flirting. The trans
Yeah,
woman was
and like,
flirting.
yeah, and then Ken was like, oh, he was like really like taken in by her. Like he was, remember? It's like, oh, I'm attracted to this. I'm a straight male, but
Times are really changing right before our eyes.
yeah,
And we don't really realize it until we think about it. Like, remember when Brokeback Mountain
yes,
really changed movies?
yes,
Everyone was like, oh my gosh, a gay love story in a movie. Now
yes.
there's going to be transgender love stories, I'm
Yeah,
sure, coming up.
We got to take a brief little commercial break. Stephanie, take a look in the camera and tell people about our delicious Founding Flavors coffee. What are we drinking today?
Well, you're drinking coffee. I don't have my decaf today. I drink Betsy's Liberty Lullaby. So anyways, so we have Founding Flavors coffee. It's at apforlibertyshop.com and it is incredibly tasty. And Austin loves it. I make it for him every single night to prepare for his morning show. And yeah, you can get a bag for yourself. There's Franklin's Electric Elixir. I think that's one of your favorites. Is that one of your favorites?
Yeah, that's like my top favorite, although the Jeffersonian Java has been competing lately. If you haven't tried it yet, you've got to just at least try a bag. And because Robbie George, for example, I've been seeing him and like Andy Opperman, they've been coming back to the well. They've been coming back for more.
Keep getting bundle packages.
Yes.
It seems people they buy all of them so they can try them all, which is probably what we would recommend because again you've changed your favorite one multiple times.
Yes, Founding Flavors is a good name, says Stevie J. Thank you for that. No.
Okay.
No. Okay, yes, you did. Sure. Yeah. Okay, it's okay.
With founding something, I think.
Yes. You came up with Tiny Patriots.
Yes, I did come up with Tiny
that was
Patriots.
you. Yes. Corey C says he was going to do Franklin's today, but he hit up Washington, so he's having some revolutionary roast.
Revolutionary roast. That's
yes.
Right. And then we have Adam's Patriotic Perk. They're all inspired by the Founding Fathers.
And we've got some new ones coming on the way as well, because I've been doing some taste tests of some single origin and some new blends. Yes. So we will have some new ones pretty soon. Somebody who is a coffee connoisseur, you've got to try it. Yesterday, somebody was like, "I drink day-old coffee from instant pot grounds and all this stuff. I don't care what my coffee is." That it's not for you. Right. This is
Folgers, and that's your favorite.
Yes,
going with Folgers.
Here's the thing: we can't compete with like the cheapest coffee makers in the world. They're gonna make they're gonna crap out some like terrible blend, and if you don't care what you drink, then it's probably not going to be Founding Flavors, right? Because we are a little bit on the higher end of the price spectrum, although we are lower than many of our premium competitors. But if you're buying like Starbucks every day or something like that, first of all, you're going to pay way more for that cup of coffee. Like
at least $3 to $5 per cup.
Easily. Yes.
You get the extra bells and whistles.
Yeah, for sure. Studio 314 says he's having an issue ordering a bundle. Here's the thing.
Really?
Yeah, well, sometimes it might be because they don't see the little menu where you have to choose either grounds or beans. Okay. So if you want whole beans, make sure you click underneath the bag where it says whole or grounds. It's because you'll get like a little error thing where you can't add it to your cart or whatever until you select either full whole bean or grounds.
Okay.
So that's usually what people have when they have the issue. So Studio 314, if you want to order some, make sure that you are selecting either grounds or beans. But if you are a premium coffee drinker, like if you're a coffee snob, and you like premium coffee, like good quality, don't send your money to Starbucks because one, you'll save more money if you spend the money on us, and two, Starbucks takes your money and uses it to pay their employees to have abortions.
Yes, they actually pay for transportation to have surgeries for transitioning.
Yeah. Studio 314, just send me a screenshot of what you're experiencing there. He says if you can't select that. So I don't know if you're doing it on your phone or on a PC or something like that. You might have to try it on a PC. I'm not quite sure. So send me a screenshot of any error messages that you might see because, of course, I do need to fix those if there are any. But if you go to the bundles page, you should be able to put them into your cart and you get discount the more that you order. So, all right. Founding Flavors Coffee. All right. Yes. We're going to take a quick little commercial break so we can go to Zapati, and I'm going to go take a look and see what Studio 314 is having an issue with. Send me the text message at 573-319-1586. That's 573-319-1586. Send me that message over there, Studio 314, with the screenshot, and I'll try and fix that for you during the commercial break while I go to the bathroom. Yeah.
perfect table.
And we'll be right back from the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com.
Donald Trump and I approve this message. Believe me, Austin Peterson is the best. He's got the greatest Wake Up America show I've ever seen. Whenever I tune in the mornings and watch the live stream, let me tell you, he has got the absolute best content. I love his guests. It's just a total blast to watch, and I highly endorse and recommend the Wake Up America show. It's terrific, believe me.
Hello, my name is Kelvin. Welcome to Frenchy Bush. This is my Didi's website, and I've decided to speak to you with my real voice for the first time ever to tell you about how cool Frenchy Bush is. But I've decided that this is the perfect opportunity to share with you. Frenchy Bush is a good website. You should follow us on socials. If you like Frenchies or any kind of bulldogs, me and my new brother George are going to try to make your life more fun.
Hello, I'm George. My neck isn't really thick yet, but it will be. We are so glad you're here. Please ignore my floating eyeball. It helps me spot predators who might be approaching from the sides.
Didi made Frenchy Bullshit to review things that he uses on me and my brother to tell you if it's good or bullshit. Take this collar, for example. Didi really likes it. Didi said it's really handy because us Frenchies got thick necks. Need something really tough. People think Frenchies are little, but if you look at us from below, you can see we are really pretty buff. Beefcake, yes. Look at my creamy thighs and chest. Yes, you like that?
Big brother, please focus.
Frenchy Bullshit. Please follow us for more great content and read the Frenchy Bullshit blog for more fun and cool stuff.
I'm a public defender.
I am a public defender.
I'm proud to be a public defender.
80% of Americans accused of a crime will get appointed a public defender.
Everybody from a speeding ticket to capital murder.
For every dollar we spend on public defenders, we spend $3 on prosecutors.
Public defenders have to do pretty much everything on their own.
Social workers, counselors.
Investigating is another piece of it.
The average public defender holds 300 cases annually.
You never feel like there's enough time.
Public defenders have health issues all the time.
A lot of people give up and say, I can't do this work anymore.
Gideon's Promise trains, mentors, and supports public defenders.
There are a lot of people who say that they would not still be public defenders, but for Gideon's Promise.
It's fueled me to continue on in this fight.
Gideon's Promise has changed the face of public defense.
People see us as troublemakers.
Good trouble only.
We don't make it easy. It should not be easy to take away someone's liberty.
Tired of spending your hard-earned money on woke corporations that don't share your pro-freedom values? Fed up with sipping liberal lattes and progressive cappuccinos? Introducing Founding Flavors from AP for Liberty Shop. Get your day started with Washington's Revolutionary Roast. As robust and principled as the man himself, this blend is the shot of energy heard round the world. Or maybe you want to taste the fervor of freedom with Adams's Patriotic Perk. It's as dynamic and balanced as the U.S. Constitution, sure to awaken your spirit of liberty. For the aficionados, we've got the Jeffersonian Java, a complex mix of flavors that speaks volumes about your refined tastes. And don't forget Betsy's Liberty Lullaby, our decaf option, crafted with the same care and dedication Betsy Ross put into our Star-Spangled Banner. This blend lets you enjoy the taste of freedom anytime without losing sleep. No woke beans here, folks, just pure patriotic pro-freedom flavors brewed with love for liberty. So why compromise your principles for a cup of coffee? Stand up for your values, perk up your patriotism, and start your day the American way. Get your Founding Flavors at apforlibertyshop.com. Good morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com. What do you think of the new studio? Huh? Very cool. And since it's Freedom Family Friday, the lovely Stephanie Peterson is joining us here in studio as well. Let's give her a round of applause.
The studio. It makes me really happy.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, right?
Yes.
We're going to get a third camera.
Official.
Yeah, we're going to get a third camera soon. Couple of technical things. One, I know people are like, Stephanie is cutting out whenever we speak over each other. Stephanie, just not because I'm trying to tell you what to do, but telling you what to do. Try and just be careful about cutting me off and speaking while I'm speaking, just because right now it looks as if the audio board that I'm working on needs a new motherboard and has to get sent to Australia for repairs. And
yes,
it's going to be a whole nightmare and a thing. So I'll ask you a question or, hop in as soon as I'm not speaking, and we'll try and work around that technical thing. Sorry about that, guys. We're just, it's going to be, there's always something.
I'll take up sign language.
Yeah. Anyways, so one thing. And then two, thanks to everybody who's buying the coffee. We appreciate that.
During our commercial break, Gwilkas bought some coffee from Rumble.
Yeah, we appreciate that. Gwilkas, thank you very much. Hope you enjoy it, and we're sending it to you right now. Expedite. All right, what have we got? Okay, making friends when you're a couple with other couples. This is a story I was reading in the Wall Street Journal yesterday, but another story that I think is worthy of mentioning in the same segment is this woman who's on TikTok who broke the internet by revealing her and her hubby's bizarre bedroom habit. Okay.
Oh.
Sounds exciting. A California TikToker had the internet ready to take to the mattresses after revealing she and her husband regularly switch which side of the bed they sleep in. Oh my God.
I think this is a couple we want to be friends with.
I don't know. No! Angelina Murphy dropped her boudoir bombshell in a video that racked up over 1 million views. She says, okay, I really need to know if we're alone in this. Do you randomly pick which side of the bed you're going to? She says, we do not have a regular side of the bed we sleep on. She admits and says that it's never discussed. We just randomly pick a side where we sleep. So she then sleeps on one side, she sleeps on another. Someone said, this is the craziest thing I've ever heard. People think that this is wild. I think that I'm even more surprised you found each other and are both okay with this. A third quipped, I'm single and I have a side of my bed.
A pillow on the other side of your bed.
Yeah. I guess it's like, it's just like one of the most unspoken things ever when you're sleeping in bed with somebody is, do you have a side of the bed, right? And is that important? I guess for us, it sort of is, right?
No, I don't think so. Honestly, if I could choose, I think we actually should switch sides of the bed. Because
we're going to air out our marital stuff here.
Here's the thing. I really believe, because I like to feel secure with a man, I believe the man should be closest to the door, right? If he's the protector.
Right.
Whereas I'm the closest to the door right now.
Well, yes, but I guess it's because the location of the self-defense implement is in such a way so as to be able to, yeah. Plus, I'm going to need that extra second to to subdue the attacker, right? And all that kind of stuff. Put on your own mask before you help someone else.
Where do I go?
Yeah. Go ahead.
But when we sleep at hotels, like during our float trip, we still continue to sleep on our normal side of the bed, usually. Like I sleep on the left, you sleep on the right. And I think my head is used to it because I'm used to being in certain positions. I sleep on my side. So I like to sleep on my left ear rather than my right ear. It feels weird.
The thing with me is that the only reason why I kind of feel like I have like a certain side of the bed is because I have like my setup for my phone and my self-defense implement and my nightstand with my book and like all like my drink and all this kind of stuff. So like I get myself set up and situated on one side of the bed. Why is that funny?
It's just because I'm thinking about what items I have on my side of the bed. I do have my phone and a book and some tissues and hair ties, of course, you know. But I mean, I share your chapstick and I share your water. So I guess I'd be fine with you coming to my side.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there really is only your side. I have like a sliver on the bed anyway. We have this king size bed, but there really is no side of the side of the bed. It's all your bed, because my side of the bed is really just a 1/4 inch sliver on the left side, because
we cuddle like we do.
right. But that's the thing, right? So we cuddle, but it's not like we cuddle over in the middle of the bed. We don't cuddle over on your side of the bed, because there's you, and then sometimes there's like a puppy or two, and they sleep over there on that other side of the bed. So it's like you guys need all this room over there, and then there's like AP like sleeps like this, like over here, like on this little side of the mattress, like one little corner, like a postage stamp.
I'm just saying, you could come to my side of the bed sometime.
I have to push,
like.
yeah. Well, I have to push you over, get you over there. So, but apparently, the reason why this went viral is because they switch it up every night. I don't know about switching it up every night. That would seem to me to be a little bit off-putting. I don't know what the audience thinks about this one.
I mean, I don't think it's a deal breaker or anything. If you said to me, "Hey, I like to mix things up, it's part of my feng shui of life or whatever," sure, that's great. I mean, I'm not that particular.
Yes. Jeffersonian Java is in my cup this morning, says Joni Rankin. Awesome. Thank you.
Hi, Joni.
Yes. Joni Rankin says, typically the one with the smallest bladder sleeps closest side to the bathroom. See, there you go. Thank you. Yes.
The bathroom quite often.
Yes. More than I do. So you need the side closer to the door.
I think the other thing we have to put into the equation is animals, because a lot of couples do have animals sleeping on their bed, which causes a lot of strain in relationships.
Marital strife.
Yes, because I would say Calvin and George choose to sleep on my left side, usually. I would say, Calvin does come over to you and George does come over to you, but most of the time they take the left side of the bed, which pushes me closer to you. See, they're like Parent Trap. They're trying to push us closer together.
This is why I mostly demand that George goes into his crate and Calvin goes to his bed on the floor.
I know.
Okay. All right. Kentucky Objectivist says that the couple that switches every night says they're sociopaths. Change my mind.
Meh. I mean, it's not that big of a deal unless you have super weird sleeping issues, which I hear of some people that literally have to sleep separate. They have to sleep with face masks, fans.
It does. It is for some people. It's a big deal for some people. Some people, because there's a reason why this video went viral with 1 million views, is because people can't fathom sleeping on different sides of the bed every night,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't care. It's like playing musical chairs, just I don't care switching my chair. Although you and we do sit on certain chairs at the table.
Yes. Joan Rankin says, no to dogs. My second husband started the monotony. Yeah, no, it's better to not have the dogs in the bed if you want to have a good relationship. Because like George, for example, like Saturday mornings when we're watching cartoons, George can come and lay in between us. But that's the problem, is that he forces himself in between us, and then we can't get close to one another. Yeah. And I find that problematic. So
yes. I think he has like an Oedipal complex.
Yes, he does. He does. He very much, he has penis envy, and then or ball envy, testicle envy, because he doesn't have any. And then of course he wants to kill his father and sleep with his mother. All right, let's talk about the next subject. Making friends with other couples. You should make friends with another couple. Your relationship may depend on it. Elizabeth Bernstein over at the Wall Street Journal writes this piece saying that finding the right match is tricky, but worth it. She tells the story of a Brady Gray who was hoping to meet, quote, the one when he composed his social media post. Married couple looking for friends to hang out with in the middle of Tennessee, just a little north of Nashville, he says. We're early 40s, pretty laid back, no kids. We really enjoy board games. He waited anxiously for responses for weeks. No one replied. Yeah, so it can be tricky finding the right couple match. Building a couple friendship is a lot like dating, except all 4 people have to click.
Right.
There's political differences, geographical barriers, personality incompatibilities that can ruin a coupling before it starts. But they say couples who have more couple friends are happier in their own relationship and are more likely to stay together, according to research. Hanging out with another couple can provide social support and help you see your partner in a new light. Richard Slatcher, he's a psych professor at University of Georgia. He studies this. He says, couple friends can help you to better appreciate your partner. When you see other people enjoying your partner's company, he says it can make you think, my partner is pretty great, right? And of course, the big challenge is that it gets tougher to make any new friends when we get older. We have less time to get together, and you don't have a ready-made pool of potential friends. We're more inhibited, right? Gone are the days you can just approach a new kid in the sandbox and just start playing together, right? So,
Yeah.
your thoughts?
I mean, we do a really good job, and they actually have kids, which will make it a lot easier when we have kids, and then we automatically have parent friends. Because I know once you have kids, it's harder to find people to hang out with that accept you when we are at gatherings, because much about Monopoly before we started playing.
Well, I introduced lots of the games that we play, like charades. And
It's a bit difficult.
The funny thing is that it's like every time I introduce something new, everyone's no. And then they end up having a blast and enjoying it and getting good at it. And they're like, oh, okay, we want to do this again. But it's tough too, because when you have kids, like we have sometimes like our language is not always appropriate for child's gatherings. We're not used to like not speaking freely, right, about certain things. So that is one of the challenges when you have friends that have kids and you don't, is how do you have like group activities that everybody can have fun with, adults and kids? And then at night, typically like the boys start drinking, right? And the kids are still, up, right? At some point you kind of got to put the kids to bed, but it's also like, how old are the kids? We're lucky because our friends have really cool children.
Right.
Like Blair, Colby and
Brock.
Brock, yes. They're so cool,
And
right? And yeah, they like hanging out with us.
Oh, Emma loves us.
She loves hanging out with us, right? We're like the cool couple that's like, like a second or third removed aunt and uncle kind of a deal, right? But it does help being here in Jefferson City and having a couple friends, because I feel like it does make life in small towns easier.
Absolutely. And I mean, it's one thing to have individual friends, which I know is very healthy to have. But I feel like within these couples, I've also found individual friends, because outside of our couples gatherings, I also talk to the women in the couples group. I talk to them outside.
Well,
I don't so much talk to the men on my own. I don't know. It's like, I guess the women kind of go with the women and the men go with the men when they are talking more individually.
We'll run riot over on the Rumble stream this morning. Good morning, Rumblers. How you doing, guys? Make sure you click that like button for us if you don't mind. He says, most of my friends were liberals and really won't associate with any more. And the couple that weren't moved to Florida.
Oh, man.
Yikes.
That sucks.
That does suck.
Luckily, we don't have the political issue, because all of our friends are actually libertarian-minded like us.
I know. We're so lucky. We're so lucky, because like all of our friends are like libertarian-minded, like the Cantina crew that came from the Wake Up America show. I say reunion, but it was the first. Next year it'll be reunion, but this year was first annual meeting. But like our friends are libertarian minded, and that is like impossible to find. Like another libertarian couple, I probably know a libertarian couple in pretty much every major town in the country. So if you know what, matchmaking service, if you are living in like a decently sized town, reach out to me and Steffi. We probably know somebody that you can hang out with. Now, there's no guarantee that they're not like necessarily like swingers, or they're libertarians, which means they're not all like us. Like I mean, Steffi, we're not really socially conservative, but we're also not like extremely socially liberal either. You know what I mean? Like we don't like hang out in like BDS groups or anything like that, but.
Like, we don't really have like gay couple friends or trans friends or anything like that.
If there were any around here, it's not to say that we wouldn't, but
Exactly.
Yeah.
With your sister or your brother, things like that. So
yeah, for sure.
It's fun.
Yes. Corey C says that he's not weird about policing language around his kids. They're not pearl clutching when they hear it. They just shrug. Richard Bell says, just flush foul language out of your vocabulary. That's funny.
Yeah, I think it's super cute though when especially the little kids, when they start to correct their parents' behaviors, when they're like, why are you drinking alcohol or something like that? And it's almost like they know, what's right because of what they've learned, and they're almost like trying to parent their parent.
Yes. The Wall Street Journal article continues on saying couple friendships can be scary in some pretty grown-up ways as well. Envy, extramarital attraction, right? Listening to a couple on the rocks bicker through dinner.
Yeah.
That is one concern that people have, right?
I mean, that would be tough. It's like I don't have that problem of being attracted to the couple people that we hang out with.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, yeah, what if there were like super ultra model looking people that we were friends with? It's like, could that be a concern?
Yeah. Psychologists say there are ways to develop couple friendships more quickly. Researchers have come up with a set of 31 questions that in a lab, I love that this has been laboratory tested, have helped couples become closer in under an hour. So the questions start out slightly personal. Would you like to be famous? In what way?
It's a really weird question.
What would constitute a perfect day for you? Okay, what would constitute a perfect day for you, Stephanie?
Oh boy. I always love to think about that question, but it's really hard to answer. I think just sleeping in, being with my animals, cuddling around me, being with you, cuddling around me, having it beautiful and sunny outside, and then probably eating breakfast outside on the patio. I never do this, but I've always wanted to. Just have a really nice, relaxing breakfast, read a book, just spend time reading. I don't know. I guess hang out with family and friends. If I could somehow have some sort of a gathering and we could all go somewhere together, do an activity like outside or whatever.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
So the questions start out just like that, right? And then they slowly become more intimate. How do you feel about your relationship with your mother?
Oh my God. Is that a little deep for a couple's friend?
Well, the point is to like get to know somebody, right? And to see how they feel and to see if you're compatible. So, Stephanie.
Wow.
How do you feel about your relationship with your mother?
I talked to Jesse Lee Peterson about my relationship with
her. I'm starting to, I have a conspiracy theory. I bet you Jesse Lee Peterson is not going to drop my interview with him.
Was he just doing therapy with us?
No, I think that he probably is, one, disappointed that I didn't give him like a viral blow up moment.
Okay.
And two, that he wasn't able to make me look stupid.
Oh boy. All right.
I'm starting to think that he's not going to drop that interview because of that.
How do I view my mother? Well, my mom and I were really close. I think we've honestly grown even healthier in our relationship together as the years have gone on. And I think we're in a really good place right now.
I mean, mine's like a whole effed up story because my mom died when I was 15, right? So I got to know my mother from the ages, know her from the ages of 0 to 13. So from 14 to 15, that was just a year of pain and suffering. And, she wasn't really herself. But of what I remember of my mother, she loved us madly. She loved horses, and she, she taught us how to ride horses, and we made friends with all of her horse friends. And we learned how to, take care of the farm, and we had pigs and chickens and rabbits and all kinds of stuff when we were kids. So it was a great childhood, right? Very idyllic. Yeah. But I think, the universe is always kind of, to me, in a way, the universe has given me a lot, but it has also taken a lot out of me.
Yeah.
So while I have like an inordinate amount of luck, right? So you are constantly amazed that I'll like play, some of the cards of whatever, and I'll, most of the time, like my luck will be very strong. But then some things, unbelievably, massively, horribly wrong will happen to me, right?
Yes.
And that's just been the story of my life. Is that it's like when I was 0 to 12. See, this is why these are good questions for couples.
Wow, yes, this would really turn into a long conversation.
Because it would start a good conversation with somebody, right? So I won't go into this too long, but I'll just say that thinking about my life from 0 to 13 was a perfect childhood.
Right.
Raised on a farm, good values, loving parents. Then at 14 years old, the real world strikes you in the face, and it strikes you good and hard. And I really became an adult, I feel like, that year. As I started to grow through my teenage years and deal with the pain of the loss of a parent, you start to take stock of who you are. And for some people, it destroys them. But actually, for me, it made me stronger. And so, these are the conversations that you would have. answering these kinds of things, right? So of all the people in your family, whose death would you find the most disturbing is another one of the questions. So you have to, all four partners have to answer all questions, right? So
It'd probably be your mom, I would assume, for you.
well, so no, my mom's already gone. So at this point in time, for me, it'd be my dad.
Oh, they're talking about a future death?
Yes,
Oh,
right. So whose death would affect you the most? It would be my father. So
yeah, and for me, my mother.
yeah. So that's pretty obvious for us.
Yeah.
Anyways.
I mean, I know that just recently, one of our couples friends, I just started talking about my parental relationships just like literally a month ago with them, and we've been friends with them for many years. So I don't know if I really open up that quickly. I'm much more of a skeptic when I enter into any relationship with anybody.
Yeah.
So I am slightly guarded.
Yes.
I don't trust. So I think I do start more with conversations about interests.
Yeah. One of our friends over on the Rumble stream this morning. Good morning for all of our friends. Appreciate you very much. As a Jesse Lee Peterson fan, I want to see this interview, says Nomad John.
Yeah.
Stevie J says, Jesse Lee Peterson is strangely funny. I can't tell if people like what he's saying or if they like the spectacle. That's funny. AP, did your parents know what libertarianism or have liberty ideals? I don't think they knew what libertarianism was when I was growing up, but I think they did have libertarian ideals to a certain extent. But our friend over on Rumble says, love Jesse Lee. He was trying to diss you, really? Yeah, I think that Jesse had determined that he didn't like me and was going to try and what's the word? Not harass, but just kind of. Yeah, just try and undermine me because he saw the interview where I confessed that I'm not religious. And so I think as a Baptist minister, of course, to him, that's a blasphemy. So he has to try and denigrate people who are ideologically opposed to everything that he stands for. Of course, he's a minister. So if you're a minister, somebody says, hey, I don't believe you, then you're going to be upset about that. So I think Jesse probably saw that. And rather than try and engage with me on political grounds where we would agree probably on 80 to 90% of things, he decided to try and undermine my ideological underpinnings by trying to act as if my mother's death had messed me up in some way and made me, because they had done their homework.
Yeah.
And were asking me very personal questions about my mother's death and about its effect on me. And I think that what he really wanted to do was to try and make it appear as if I had some kind of imbalance or like there was some problem with me, because his big thing is calling other men betas, right? So he was like, he didn't call me a beta, but he insinuated that I was.
To me.
To you, yeah. And I mean, it's a very hostile interview. If you were being asked those questions, just think about it if he does drop it, which I don't think he will. But if he does, then I would invite you to consider how you would react if you were being asked the questions that he was asking you, which were very hostile, very aggressive, very rude.
Yeah.
And we'll just see what they do with it. So I think he probably won't drop it because, he wasn't able to make me look like an idiot. And I didn't acknowledge when he's like, "What? How do you deal with the fact that you play the role of the man in the relationship?" He said to you.
He asked me that question.
And it's like, what?
Right.
Like, what are you trying to say? Like trying to act as if he knew what the dynamics of a relationship were.
I seriously thought he was trying to be a psychic. He was trying to talk to me about my relationship with my parents. And I was like, do you know something about my parents?
Of course he didn't. He was just being
talking to me.
Yeah.
He's like giving me fortune cookie advice.
It was very fortune cookie. Very fortune cookie, the advice that he was offering. So
it's like, I have a fine relationship with my mom. And he's like, forgive her. And I'm like, what?
Okay. Yes. Yeah, exactly. So Stevie J says, I think it's a badge of honor if JLP calls you a beta. That's funny.
Yeah.
I don't know.
If there's any fans out there, just tweet out to JLP and be like, hey, when is this airing? We want to see it.
Yeah. My brother is saying, in regards to whether my mom or dad had libertarian ideals, Justin says, Grandma Rose, my dad's mom, used to call mom her freedom of speech daughter-in-law. Yeah, because mom would speak up, right? If there was a problem and if she didn't like what was going on, so the Peterson family was and probably is to a certain extent still a very patriarchal family, right? That's very much been a part. That was how we were raised. Like I have a shirt that I used to wear ironically that I was given to me unironically as a kid. Did I ever tell you about this?
I think you've worn the shirt.
You might have seen it. I don't think I can fit into it anymore, but it says women are property.
Yes. Blame me on your taxes. Yes, you kind of do.
Well, we both do. But the family, so it was a big deal for my mom to be like outspoken as she was, because that's just not how like Peterson women were sort of molded to be, right? It was very much, seen and not heard, very kind of thing.
Yeah.
To an extent.
More alpha, maybe.
Yeah, to an extent, right? So, depending on how you feel about that. So,
It's really into politics. Isn't there a photo of her at some sort of a campaign rally?
Yeah.
Was it Reagan?
I think Nixon. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. So Justin will fill us in on that one, but she may have been a Goldwater girl as well. I'm not entirely sure. So Richard Nixon. Yeah, my parents were Republicans. They were not Democrats ever. So
I don't know what my parents were when I was growing up. All I remember is having a very long conversation at a restaurant with my dad about Timothy McVeigh when I was in 7th grade. And I was very upset that he was going to have the death penalty. For some reason, I was really against it.
I know why you thought you didn't like him getting the death penalty. It's because he had his favorite ice cream was your favorite ice cream as well.
Yeah. So I was like, he's a human. Why are you killing him? I understand the whole issue, obviously, but I still don't like the death penalty.
Yeah, I don't either, but not just because, somebody eats the same ice cream as I do and enjoys it. All right. So that is making friends with other people. You have to create opportunities to meet other couples, join a club or volunteer. You meet like-minded people.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you're invited to a party or gathering, go.
Right.
Or be brave and host your own dinner party, right? Invite another couple out. Yeah, we host parties. We mostly go to the Mosleys, but we do invite them over for parties at our house and stuff like that sometimes too.
Honestly, this is how I've always been. I've always had more fun at other people's parties than my own.
Well, sure.
Kid, I used to not like my own birthday parties, and I like to go to other people's.
Yeah. No, of course, because it's a lot easier. Let them handle everything.
And free food.
All right. It's time for us to take a quick little break here and talk about our friends at Lear Capital, who are sponsors of the show.
Sorry about that.
Let's hear it. Go ahead.
Okay, so we were talking to my mom last night, and she is really interested in investing. She's going to be talking to some financial planners, and I was like, Mom, invest in gold. Because she was like, I want something that's secure and something that I can take out whenever I want. I said, Mom, you're talking about gold, right? And she was like, oh yeah, I really like gold. And so I had her sign up for Lear Capital so she can talk to somebody. So she's hopefully going to get some information so she can get some gold as soon as possible.
Nice. There you go. Lear Capital. So Lear Capital sponsors the Wake Up America show, and they know that, we're not the biggest podcast in the world, right? We don't have like 7, half-naked girls sitting on our stream so that we can get, 2 million followers tuning in or anything like that. We know that we operate in a bit of a niche, and so that means that we'll have a little bit smaller audience. But Lear Capital takes the risk on a smaller show like us and says, hey, we know that the people who watch the Wake Up America show are the right kind of people for the message of economic freedom that comes from investing in gold and silver. If you're somebody who has been considering investing in gold and silver, now's a great time to get into the marketplace because the price has gone down a bit. And if you use my code or call that phone number on the screen today, they will offer you a $250 account credit, so towards your purchase of gold. So call them today, 1-800-885-2175, or visit learaustin.com. Sign up today to get more information about investing in gold and silver. If you haven't already, do it today. Give them a call. Ask them about that $250 account credit when you give them a call at 1-800-885-2175. Call them today. Tell them, hey, I saw you on Austin Peterson's show. I'm interested in learning more. And the nice thing about them too, Stephanie, is like you said, is that they don't try and bug me about
Yeah,
it.
that's what my mom was so worried about. She's like, can you just give my email and not my phone number? And I was like, seriously, they call you one time and just tell you the information and never bother you again.
Yeah, for sure. So help support the show, support the message of economic freedom and personal liberty, and support your economic freedom in the future. So give them a call today, 1-800-885-2175. All right, we're going to take a quick little commercial break. When we get back, 10 sex questions to ask your partner.
Ooh. It's gonna get heated.
It's going to get a little hot and meaty in here. All right, when we get back on the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com. It was 1946. A battle was fought, not overseas, but right here on American soil. The Battle of Athens, an intense struggle against election fraud and for the rights promised by our founding fathers. Driven by the Second Amendment, ordinary citizens stood tall and fought back. Help us expose this momentous battle of integrity and bravery. Your support can make a difference. Visit givesendgo.com/bleedamerican and pledge your support, because we believe in the power of truth, the strength of unity, and the spirit of we the people. Let us not forget, we bleed American.
Fire.
Hello, this is Barack Obama, and let me tell you why Austin Peterson stinks, and you should never pay attention to anything that he has to say. First of all, he's a libertarian, and we all know libertarians are idiots. They don't realize how important government is to everything that we do. I recently became aware that Austin has opened up a libertarian shop at apforlibertyshop.com. Now, I'm asking you as a personal favor to me that you never ever visit apforlibertyshop.com. With all of the great Liberty merchandise there, the last thing that we need to do is to get people spreading this message around the country, because then they might start thinking that they don't need government. And that's the last thing that good Democrats like us want. So if you love democracy, like me, and hate freedom, then don't visit AP for Liberty Shop. Like I said, whatever you do, do not visit apforlibertyshop.com. I'm Barack Obama, and I approve this message.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
I would remind you that extremism in the defense of liberty is no vice.
It is better to settle these matters in the courts than on the streets, and new laws are needed at every level. But law alone cannot make men see right.
Good morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com. How are you feeling today? Good, good. Well, I'm glad the studio audience is enjoying the show. How about you out there in Liberty Land? If you're enjoying the content that you're watching this morning, make sure that you click that like button and definitely subscribe to the channel that you're watching us on so that you can get updates when we go live. Every Monday through Friday, the Wake Up America show comes to you from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central. It's a 2-hour daily Liberty talk show during the work week. A great way to start the day, as well, of course, as our delicious Founding Flavors coffee, which you can get at ap4libertyshop.com. If you haven't tried it yet, definitely make sure you go over there to the shop and get yourself some. My lovely wife, Stephanie Peterson, is joining us here on Family Friday. Nice to see you.
Say delicious Steffi.
She is delicious. Let's talk a little bit about the news. Stephanie, I sent you this article yesterday. You might have seen it. The catfish story. A single mom claims her life was turned upside down after she was catfished by a scammer claiming to be Stranger Things star Decray Montgomery. Michaela of Kentucky revealed she left her husband for Montgomery after the two met in an online forum for creatives. She also sent the scammer roughly $10,000. The two hit it off, but of course I'm suspicious from the get-go until he starts doing things that make me believe that he is who he says he is. So she's going to be... Yes. So $10,000 she sent to the scammer. And yeah, so she's going to be on the next episode of Catfish. Hold on one second. Let's see what...
Yeah, I love that show.
I know you do. I know you do. Okay, so hold on. Let's take a listen to her here real quick.
I'm obsessed with Stranger Things. But the thing is, when I tallied it all up, it was $10,000-ish. I told my ex-husband, I said, listen, I said, it's not working out. I said, you're not letting me be me. You're not letting me be free. I said, I think you need to leave. So he left. Within 2 months, he was gone.
What's up, Seekers? Welcome back to another episode.
Victim divorces husband for Stranger Things romance scammer. You got something you want to say, Steph?
I mean... Did she first contact his official account? Does he even have an official account?
Yeah,
it's like people are so stupid.
Yes.
It's so easy to find official celebrities nowadays on Twitter and social media, but everybody also has a blue check mark now on Twitter.
Here's the thing. You set up, your life with someone.
Yeah.
You spend time, you go on dates with them, right? You go through the courtship period. You get engaged. You go through the engagement period. You plan a wedding. You have a wedding with a person. You have a life with someone. You buy a home with them. You move in with them. You build a life with them.
Yeah.
Then you get on the internet and you just start chatting with someone who you don't know, who claims to be a famous person and who asks you for money. And then you divorce your husband for somebody that you've never met and you don't know, all this kind of stuff. I mean, they're stupid. And then there is, we're talking, how goddamn retarded can you be? I mean, this is more than just stupid. I mean, this person is like, this person probably had like this, went and took the classes in the trailer with the rest of the special kids out, right? You know what I mean?
I mean, I think she would have, people cheat all the time, right? So it's like, I think it's just the fact that she thought this guy was from Stranger Things, that she was even more stupid than your average cheater. But, tons of people talk online. They go to OnlyFans, start falling in love with strippers and sex workers.
No, it happens. People get catfished, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like, maybe they cheat, like, right? Or they're cheating, right? But they don't, they don't divorce necessarily, right? I mean, maybe they get divorced if they're caught, but she's like, I got to make way for this guy because I got to get my husband out of this thing for a man I've never met.
You know how there's those couples, they always talk about like the one person that you'd allow your significant other to cheat with.
Yes.
And it's a celebrity. Right. They're like, okay, what is that term called? I forget what the term is that they use.
I don't know, your celebrity cheat. Yeah.
Right. Who's that one person? And it's like, I don't think I would even want to do that, honestly.
No, it's not worth it.
No.
It's not worth it, right? Like, I'm like any other man. Okay, sometimes I'm scrolling on Instagram and I'll see a big booty hoe and I'll get that twinge that is that lust. It's
Right.
just a chemical deal.
Right.
And then you say to yourself, would you cheat? And then your brain kicks in after a couple of seconds and you think to yourself, what a stupid thing. What a stupid idea that would be to throw away. Like, it's like you build this castle and you're like, oh, let me go drive this Porsche for 10 minutes. And then when you come back, your castle is gone. Like, how stupid would you be to take that kind of a risk with your life, your entire life, that could be just destroyed for a moment for going in a Lamborghini? Like, it makes no sense. People are, and here's the thing. It wasn't even like an actual, she didn't even get a real ride in a Lamborghini. She didn't even get to go ride in a sports car. It was fake. It was a Mazda Miata.
She divorced prematurely.
Pretty much.
She should have had the affair and then seen if it was real and then been like, okay, goodbye, if she really wanted to leave her marriage. But
I don't know.
Leaving your marriage is silly anyway.
It's dumb.
And I think, too, we're assuming most people live in castles like we do.
Right.
You and I,
True.
we would be silly to want to be with other people.
Right.
But other people, they're completely miserable in their marriage. So it's like,
that's true.
They're a lot of times looking for emotional support online. And that's what a lot of these online relationships give them is someone who's like, hey, babe, I love you. Like, they just want to hear those positive words and they want to feel special. And that's what these people make them feel as they're sending them $10,000.
Who knows what that was called, by the way? It's called a hall pass.
Hall pass. Yes, thank you. Yes, your celebrity hall pass.
Yes. Okay.
Right.
Justin Peterson says the scamming of lonely-hearted people is real, though. It's true.
Oh, yeah.
Well, now, and I talked about this earlier in this week, the thought apocalypse is that men are using AI to create these women and then scamming other men, which I actually think is good because women have gotten away for too long with their OnlyFans scamming guys and posting pictures and taking their money. Now men are getting in on it and they're taking money away from OnlyFans influencers and because they're creating these AI generated women. And people are so stupid, just like this chick.
Right.
They're so stupid that they are actually paying money to other men who create AI generated images of these women. And now OnlyFans girls are mad about the rise of AI, right? It's not just populist Republicans who are like complaining about taking their jobs away from truck drivers or whatever.
It's just like artists who are upset at Midjourney for taking away, their art.
Right.
They're like, no, I can't have a job and make money anymore. Well, I guess sex workers can't either because people are making sex workers out of Midjourney.
Which, by the way, we actually heard there's an update. There was a court case where artists had sued Midjourney over using their art. And a judge is threatening to dismiss the case.
Good.
So, exactly, because we use Midjourney I use every day Midjourney to make the thumbnail pics for the show.
I know.
And we use it for all kinds of stuff, to making stuff for our shop, you know? So it's like, we're glad that it looks like it's going to be won on free speech grounds. So let's see. What else do we have here?
And I mean, that woman too, wouldn't it be weird for a celebrity to ask you for money? Wouldn't a celebrity from Stranger Things have money unless he spent it all, I guess?
Yes. But yeah, exactly. You're like channeling what Blue Trike is saying. He says, I mean, if you're going to cheat, might as well get divorced. However, sending a rich, famous movie star thousands of dollars. Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Dumb.
Maybe if he sent her thousands of dollars, then she'd be like, oh, wow, this guy really likes me.
That'd be different. Right? And you'd be like, okay, he's actually legit. You'd still be a dirty cheater and a hoe, but.
And I wonder, too, because she said there were certain things he was telling her that made her think he was real. Like, was he video chatting with her as himself from the show?
No.
I mean, I'm just really interested to see this catfish episode because
me too.
I don't know how she could have believed this.
Yep. If you want to be more intelligent, say goodbye to these 8 habits. That's right. We spent a lot of time thinking on how to become smarter, more productive, better equipped to navigate this ever-changing world. But did you ever stop to think about the ways in which you're holding yourself back? Sometimes it's not about doing more. Sometimes it's about cutting back. If you want to be more intelligent, say goodbye to these 8 habits. Your brain will be grateful. Number 1, doom scrolling. Yes. I'm sure you don't need a study to confirm this, but we have one nonetheless. Doom scrolling is linked to poor physical and mental health. like most of the planet. I think a lot of people started doom scrolling in 2020 during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Right. But then the pesky habits, this starts altering your brain chemistry. Right. So your attention span dies. Right. Your mental health is garbage. Right. But, a pandemic was happening, sure, but that's only part of the problem. Right. It does have a long lasting effect as well. People still have trouble focusing for long periods.
They do.
Yeah, when you're not glancing at your news app every 5 minutes. I'm not gonna lie, like the 2 to 3 days when I didn't have my phone, I was like, you could tell I was struggling, right?
Right. Yeah.
So doom scrolling.
I mean, I don't know if I guess doom scrolling, that would be like scrolling on Twitter and just like looking at all the
all the terrible news, all the bad news, right? Because people just look at the bad news all day, like they just scroll and scroll and scroll. Terrible news, conspiracy theory. Terrible news, conspiracy theory. Terrible news, conspiracy theory. The Hawaiian wildfire set by BlackRock developers. I saw the new one today is that there were mobile vans that were set up at different places in Hawaii and stuff, and it's just like. You see all this kind of stuff and people are fascinated by it, right? Conspiracy theories are exciting and they're fun. They're way more interesting than the truth usually because the truth is usually much more boring, but people don't want that. And a lot of bored housewives are sitting around, watching Alex Jones and they're like, oh my God, they're putting the chemicals in the water to make the freaking frogs gay. And we did look that up, by the way. And yes, we know that estrogen in the water does make the freaking frogs gay.
Yeah, we were watching a documentary about testosterone.
Yeah. About the loss of testosterone in the modern man. Yeah.
And there really is estrogen in the water from birth control pills.
Yeah, there is. There is. Now, what we don't know exactly is how much that's impacting male testosterone levels, but it possibly could be.
Yeah.
But we haven't seen a causal link just yet because we don't know what the dosage is that every person takes. But we do know that male testosterone levels have been dropping precipitously since like the 1980s to today. So that is a serious problem. But a lot of it they think has to do with the fact that there's a lot of estrogen in the foods that we eat.
Soy.
There's a lot of estrogen in the products that we use. So like the soaps that we use have estrogen in them and estrogen is soluble in the skin. It what do you call it when it can go through your skin?
Oh, it absorbs, I guess.
Absorbs,
But there's a more scientific
estrogen is
word.
very easily absorbed through the skin.
Yeah.
So there's soy is a perfect example that has high. It's not estrogen itself, but it mimics the effect of estrogen.
Right.
So soy, the rise of soy and stuff like that. And I wonder if that isn't part of the reason why Asian people might be a little bit smaller and undersexed compared to Westerners is because they eat so much soy.
Oh my goodness.
Right. So tofu, right? So, soy sauce, right? Soy is like in everything that you eat in Asian dishes.
That's interesting. I've never thought of that before.
I mean,
where's the most manly men in the world?
Permeable, says Corey C. is what I'm looking for. Thank you.
Oh my goodness. That's like biology class. Yes.
Yes. Skin permeable. Thank you. Anyway, so doom scrolling is where we were at. Let's move on to the next thing.
Online shopping is doom scrolling. I was doing that last night when I couldn't sleep.
Number 2, staring at screens. There you go.
Oh, like TV screens.
Yes. Well, yeah. Well, or no, mobile phones.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Too much time online can contribute to cognitive fatigue and reduced cognitive performance.
Yeah.
Right.
I believe it. I've been having some eye strain lately from looking at screens too much. So I actually got out my old pair of glasses.
Yep. Staring at beautiful people on social media makes you feel worse about yourself. Very true. Binge watching another crime drama keeps you up past your bedtime. We struggle with that, right? Cutting back even a little bit on staring at screens at night would help your overall mental health, make you smarter.
I would totally do a detox. I would be ready for that.
Yeah, take screen breaks, watch media that if you're going to watch media that relaxes and engages your brain. What I used to do before you and I were a thing when I would sleep at night by myself is I would actually turn on podcasts that were interesting enough of a subject that I would like to, that it was engaging to me. However, it was the voice and the voice effects on it weren't like loud or screaming or explosions. It was just like almost like books on tape kind of, where there wasn't any like, bangs or booms or anything like that. Just like kind of monotonous talking about subjects that I found interesting, but after like 5-10 minutes, you're asleep. So those were good as well. But acting like a know-it-all, ways to be more intelligent, right? So
the know-it-all cocky people are not very intelligent. They're just trying to make you think they are.
Right. A curious mind recognizes there is always something to learn. Be curious, not judgmental, right? So If you want to become more intelligent, keep an open mind. You never know who can teach you something valuable. That is something I struggle with for sure.
Yeah, I'm curious and I like to ask a lot of questions, but I am also judging.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's for sure. Let's see. Multitasking gives you the illusion you're accomplishing more in less time. In reality, the practice has adverse effects on cognitive performance and overall brain function. Constantly switching between tasks taxes our brain and makes us prone to errors.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, I know people do it on like social media all the time. They switch from, Instagram to Facebook to Twitter to TikTok constantly. And I mean, being at home, it's like you're watching TV while you're doing the dishes, while you're making dinner and talking on the phone. And it's just like, I guess housewives probably multitask quite a bit too.
Nelson65's called me out, by the way, talking about celebrities sending money. He says, AP's a celebrity and he's always asking for money.
Oh, dear. Uh-oh.
Very good, Nelson.
Oh, wow.
LW78 says, funny enough, Austin, I do that now. Try and put up a good podcast or long form YouTube video on low volume in the background as I try to sleep. Yeah, I like documentaries and history documentaries and things like that. Those help me. But
I'm trying to think what helps me sleep. I guess I always do go to my phone because usually if I'm stuck in my thoughts and just thinking about life, I just need something to distract myself. And so I just go on my phone for a while and then usually I get tired, even though I know they say not to go on your phone because the light messes with your eyes. I don't think that's really true. I don't have problems with that.
Now, let's see, sleeping too little, another thing that's harming your intelligence. Sleep deprivation doesn't only make you cranky, it also fries your brain. Yeah. It's essential for creative thinking and problem solving. I don't care whether you're a morning person or a night owl, just make sure you sleep at least 7 to 9 hours per sleep. Taking a vacation every now and then doesn't hurt either. Stephanie, do we sleep 7 to 9 hours?
No. And I really just want to spend just a week and see what it's like to sleep in. I think that'd be amazing.
We should take a vacation. All right. We've been talking about it for a little while. So like an actual vacation.
Vacation we take is always really adventurous.
It's always adventurous. And there's always like, a social element to it. That's also exhausting. I would love to have a vacation where like I don't talk for a week.
Yeah.
Like where I don't have to say anything.
Where we can do that. We can do that at like a meditation retreat.
Well, we were talking about going to Colorado this year. So maybe later this year, we might take a drive out to Colorado or possibly Hot Springs, Arkansas.
Does anyone have any good cost-effective anniversary trip ideas? Our anniversary is coming up in October. And so we're just trying to find a little getaway that's not too far away from Missouri, but still nice and intimate and fun.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe Colorado, but I'm not entirely sure about that one yet. So
I was thinking Hot Springs, Arkansas, but I hear the hot springs aren't so spectacular. Once you've seen hot springs in Japan, nothing else seems to be that great.
Yeah, for sure. So number 6, stressing over nonsense. Some things are worth stressing about: your rent, your health and safety, life-altering decisions, right? But other things not so much. A few things that are none of your business. 1, what random people think of you. That's hard when we do what we do here, right? 2, minor setbacks and inconveniences. 3, other people's drama.
Ugh.
4,
I'm consumed with that.
Yes, I know. Future uncertainties, why someone ghosted you, or the fact that you're not pretty enough, witty enough, fashionable enough, don't have enough listeners or followers to the Wake Up America show. Things like that.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have a mind that just overthinks about everything. So I'd say that's probably one of my problems.
Well, here's the thing.
The thing that'll probably kill me is the stress I had when I was a young child.
Here's what they say, though. Chronic stress reduces your ability to make good choices and think logically. Chronic stress. And you are a chronic stressor.
Yeah. Like I said, I think that's going to shorten my lifespan. But yeah, I mean, seriously, with an anxious person, your amygdala gets really overactive. That's the fight or flight area. And it's always like, oh my God, it's a fire, even when it's nothing big deal. And then the logical part of your brain is just like not active. And so then your fight or flight zone just takes over. Yeah, so you just got to settle down and then you'll be logical.
Number 7, a list of things that to help you be more intelligent, things that are getting in your way. Not reading. Reading books brings joy and knowledge, teaches you new things. It's entertaining. Pick a book, any book. Take a look. It's in a book, right?
I always say to you, I'm like, I want to read more.
I know,
we need to read more. We used to read before bed, or like on weekends, we'd have some reading time, but now we're just doing other things that are productive. But I love reading.
Yes. So, try an audiobook at first, right?
I don't like
get yourself.
those.
I know some people don't, but it's a good way to get you back into the habit to start, having this long form thought processes and things like that. So maybe ask friends or coworkers for recommendations for books or things like that, right? Or take your most significant topic of interest, pick a book that revolves around that, or what I've been considering doing is rereading a childhood favorite, things like that you loved. What was one that you loved to read as a kid?
As a kid?
Mm-hmm. What was one of your childhood favorite books?
Oh, gosh. I loved Dr. Seuss books. I loved Go Dog Go. That was my very favorite.
Mm-hmm.
And then I loved Amelia Bedelia. And I really liked the books when I got older about switching bodies, like, help, I'm trapped in my principal's body.
Yes.
Those Freaky Friday kinds of things.
Yeah, I liked Goosebumps books, but my favorite books growing up as a kid were the Black Cauldron series, which was, it was kind of like a lesser known, they made a Disney movie about it, the Black Cauldron, but the movie wasn't that great, but the books were amazing. It was the Tehran Wanderer series by Lloyd Alexander, and they were kind of fantasy adventure books that I really enjoyed. And I read The Hobbit twice, and I liked The Hobbit, but I never read Lord of the Rings as a kid because it was just way too much. I was like, as just all the lore, with the deep lore was fine. I like the movies, but
that's surprising to me. You seem like you would understand Lord of the Rings better than most.
Well, I would if I'd read it, but I read like the first book, and I was just kind of like, because he goes into explanation about the lineage of each of the characters, and it's like this. It's kind of reminds me of the Bible. Have you ever read the Bible? No, you haven't. Okay, so in the Bible, there are certain parts of the Bible where they were like Asher, son of Asher, Asher, son of Nebuchadnezzar, Nebuchadnezzar, son of this. And it's just like the Jews love chronicling their history. So it's just these recitations of this is the son of that, this is the son of that, this is the son of that, this is the son of that. And so it's kind of like the Lord of the Rings has that aspect to it where I'm just kind of like, I don't care. Like, can something happen in this book, right? But The Hobbit is a lot less like that. It's more The Hobbit is more accessible. So I loved The Hobbit, but I was more into the Tehran Wanderer series. They're much more accessible. And I read a lot of Stephen King, not gonna lie. I read like at a very young age, I read like a lot of Stephen King, and Tommy Knockers and Pet Sematary and like all of his major hit books, Cujo, Shawshank Redemption. Those is a short stories.
I love all those movies. I've never read the books.
Yeah, a lot of those books are fantastic and really have impacted me. And my dad was really upset about it. He thought I was going to turn into a freak reading all those books. Maybe he's right. Anyways.
See, the thing is, when I was a kid, I was forced to read from school. And so reading was not fun for me. I only started to begin enjoying reading once I got out of college. And then I actually was able to read books that I wanted to read, not that I was told to read. So my love for reading developed over the course of the past 10 years, which is really sad.
Mm-hmm. One listener texted in and said, in regards to the catfish, can we finally talk about how women have no agency? Well, we could, but I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. So.
Agency? What is agency?
Agency, I think, means that you have your own, that women have the right to make their own choices.
That they shouldn't have the right to make their own choices.
I would just like to hear what this listener has to say about it. So, I will talk about it but you have to explain what you
give us a prompt.
Yes. The next thing on the list here of if you want to be more intelligent, say goodbye to these habits, doubting your own potential. You can't become smarter if you don't embrace a growth mindset. I say this a lot. Right.
You don't doubt your potential. I doubt my potential.
Yep. Acquiring new skills, learning new languages, right? Your brain is a muscle. It grows stronger with use, right? Take an online course, right? We've got to change your behavior to change your outcomes.
Absolutely.
Right. So you don't doubt your own potential because there's a lot that you can accomplish if you set your mind to it.
That's the other thing that school messed up for me. Sorry, I'm really hating on school, but school made me hate learning and it made me fear learning because I usually had to take tests. I usually had to do homework to prove that I learned something. And I want to just learn for fun. And so I've avoided it.
Yeah. School sucks. I agree.
Yeah.
And I think everybody else agrees. Will Run Right over on Rumble says, I bought a ton of books that were on our school reading list when we were kids that they've removed now. Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah. Will Run Right says, if you want to stay in Mo and like fishing, Hickory Cove Hideaway in Pittsburgh, it's right in Palm de Terre. We go up there for a week every summer. I used to go to Palm de Terre all the time when I was a little time. Somebody says Eureka Springs is also good. Will Run Right. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Appreciate that very much. All right. Well, it's
Really?
Yeah.
Did we get through the list?
Yeah, that was it.
Oh, huh. Yay.
And it's 8:59, so it's time for us to go.
Oh my.
This was fun in the new studio.
It was so much fun. I feel like I'm at Disney World.
I know. It's gonna get better, and I'm gonna have to send my audio solution out to Australia to get it fixed so that
Australia
you can actually talk at the same time. Yeah, it's annoying.
Whoa.
And they want to like charge me $100 and all this stuff, so I got to fight with them.
I mean, it's their fault, not yours.
Agreed. And I've had it for less than a year. Anyways, well, they don't care about our problems.
No.
If you like the Wake Up America show, do us a favor and buy a cup of Founding Flavors coffee. Head over to ap4libertyshop.com. Try our delicious roasts. We've got Jeffersonian Java, Adam's Patriotic Perk, Washington's Revolutionary Roast, Franklin's Electric Elixir, Betsy's Liberty Lullaby, and
more. Coming soon.
Head over to ap4libertyshop.com. Try some delicious Founding Flavors coffee. If you get a bundle of them, don't forget you're going to save money on that bundle page. And if you're already addicted, then it's time to sign up for your subscription.
Can I tell them about the new shirts we just added?
Yeah, go ahead.
We just added a homeschool collection for those of you who are homeschool parents and homeschool kids. So check that out. Just type in homeschool in the search on ap4libertyshop.com and you'll see our new gear.
There we go. All right. Well, we hope you enjoy the new studio and we'll continue to improve. We appreciate all of our friends watching us over here on the Wake Up America show, especially over on YouTube and Rumble, where we've got our biggest audiences. Andy Opperman, Corey C., Diog H., Quest Fanning, Joni Rankin, Rare Camellia, AC, Justin Peterson, and let's see who else have we got here.
Most of those names.
Run Riot, Blue Trike, Nelson 65, LW 78 gave us a big super chat today. Guocas 0422, Katie 556, and all the friends over on Rumble. If you haven't already, make sure you click that like button before you leave and subscribe to us as well on Rumble. We're trying to grow over there as well. So help support the message of economic freedom and personal liberty and two libertarians in love, AP and Steffi. I'm AP for Liberty. This is Steffi P for Liberty.
Steffi P.
All right, say goodbye.
Be free. Sleep on a different side of the bed tonight.
You have to force behaviors, and at BlackRock, we are forcing behaviors.
Mao ordered his citizens to throw off the four olds. Old thinking, old culture, old customs, and old habits. So, your whole life went in the garbage overnight, no biggie. And those who resisted were attacked by an army of purifiers called the Red Guard, who went around the country putting dunce caps on people. Yeah. Who didn't take to being a new kind of mortal being.
If you don't force behaviors, whether it's gender or race or just any way you want to say the composition of your team, you're going to be impacted.
Well, things haven't been so sweet for Ben & Jerry's after the company posted an anti-American tweet, a few of them, on the 4th of July. The ice cream makers declared the United States was founded on stolen indigenous land.
Well, someone should tell Target that because they're now selling swimsuits with tuckums in the women's section of the store. And they even have a line just for kids.
Yeah, we're going to reach out to Ben & Jerry's and ask them how they can live with themselves as they operate a multi-billion-dollar company on stolen land while declaring other people give up their so-called stolen land.
This is the child section. This is literally the kids section. I'm next to a literal onesie that says whatever the hell that means. We have Glad You Came Out, and I'm so happy that you're queer in the kids section. Are you kidding me? I'm sorry, but pride and toddler don't belong in the same sentence.
Good news! Starbucks will offer its workers reimbursement of travel expenses related to accessing abortion and gender-affirming procedures.
Kyle Rittenhouse was seen wearing a Black Rifle Coffee Company shirt, and they wanted to distance themselves from that individual. Key employees at the company also were donating to Democrats. Hafer doubled down on throwing many in his base under the bus, describing them as racist and a repugnant group of people.